Hey guys, how's it going? Kulprit here. And today I want to do something a little different. Yeah, you see, funky little angle webcam. Figured I'd spice it up a little bit. No, I just figured, I hit 3K the other day. Well, I guess a week or two ago now. And I like doing special things. I like mixing it up a little bit. You know, doing the same kind of videos over and over can be a little tedious. So I want to do another Q&A. I did this at, I think it was 2K, right? Wasn't it? I had a lot of fun with it. It was kind of cool. Like, as you guys know, I've said when I did the Kulprit script video, I like sharing with you guys. I like giving you a view into who I am. Full disclosure, I think it makes you more loyal subs. You feel a little closer, like you know me. I'm not just some guy talking to you through gameplay. And, you know, as I've always said, the point of this channel is to get to know people, make friends, people to play with. And, you guys are all nice enough to comment at me and tweet at me and all that. The least I can do is kind of reciprocate a little bit. So one way I do that, aside from answering your tweets and things like that, is to do Q&As, and they're fun. And it really kind of helps me ping in on what you guys want to know. And, you know, what your interest might be pertaining to me. And, I have some boundaries, and I've said that to you guys, and I'll just, if you ask a question, I'm not going to answer it. There's one of those here. I'm going to kind of skirt it. So without further ado, I'm just going to get right back into it. And the first question is from Laser Lord. It was on the Facebook page, and it goes, what are your thoughts on indie games? Will you do any Let's Plays or reviews, etc., with new, old, or upcoming indie games? Yeah, I have no problem with indie games. Actually, I'm a big fan of indie games now. The definition of indie games, I think, is graying now, because some of these indie games are getting to be fairly bigger budget, especially if you look to the free-to-play genre. Some people might not even consider that indie games anymore. I put a lot of hope in indie games for the simple reason of those are the guys innovating, and we sorely need innovation. Every now and then we get a game that comes around that's really brand new. The one that jumps off the top of my head, DayZ. Very new experience, and I fell in love with that game very hard. But other than that, we see a lot of, revamps, Borderlands 2. I love that game, but let's be honest, it's not revolutionary, it's not new. All the shooters, I mean, everything. I'm excited for SimCity. I'm not knocking that. I mean, I love these franchises. But we need innovation. You always need innovation, and I think big games like the Call of Duties, the Battlefields, there's too much. They have investors, they have all these things. There's too much riding on each game being a success that you're not going to see any single one of them really innovate. They're not gonna mess with the recipe, and you have to look at it from a business standpoint and realize that as much as we might get frustrated by that, it makes perfectly good sense. So I'm a big proponent of indie games. I don't play a ton of them, just because I don't have a lot of time around the big games I play. But I keep an eye on them, and I show them support where I can. The next question was from, and I wrote all the names down here. If I mispronounce it, I apologize. Like this one, I'm confused. It says Bad Lewis. I don't know. If you were to buy a gaming laptop, which one would you buy and why? Well, my simple answer, and I'm not trying to avoid the question, is I wouldn't. There's no such thing to me as a gaming laptop. There's a laptop that you can play games on, but if you're building a PC for gaming, it just can't be a laptop. I'm sorry. Not knocking laptops. I understand. I actually need one. I'm actually going to have to pick one up in the near future because it does fill that niche. Like, basically what I use now is I use my iPad for things like email, net surfing, watching YouTube videos, and then I have my, my big desktop here that I use for editing, gaming, all that stuff. There is a middle ground there, especially me with my boys. I don't get in the office as much as I'd like, so unless I'm in the office, I cannot edit videos. I'm hoping maybe over the winter to pick one up. I don't know if I will yet. I haven't decided. But anyway, it fills a role, and I understand. I don't know much about you, sir. If you're in college or something like that, they are absolutely, they do fill that role very well. Oh man, if I were to, truthfully, I don't know. I don't know enough about laptops. I've gone both ends of the spectrum. I went years and years ago. I was going Apple kind of. I had iBooks and MacBooks and all that stuff. So I went higher end, and I spent some money, and I had good experiences. But I found that laptops become obsolete so quickly that I went the other end of the spectrum most recently, and I think, what did I get? I think we had Dells then, and then we had HPs, because me and my wife have always pretty much had a new laptop like every 2 years or so, both for work and things like that. And I didn't have a bad experience with that, but I didn't have a very good experience with it either. So that's kind of what drove me to doing the desktop thing about a year ago. So I don't know enough about laptops to tell you that. If somebody can give this guy some direction, I'd love to hear it. Off the top of my head, look up my buddy Black Sunshine. I'll put a link in the description. He's kind of my PC computer guru kind of guy. Check out his channel. He might be able to help you out. The next question is CPR Barikua. That's one. If I mispronounce it, I'm sorry. What every gamer wants to do is play their games all the time, but we all have a real life to deal with. How do you balance work, wife, and 2 boys with gaming and YouTube? How much of an impact does gaming and YouTube have on your personal life? What do you recommend to your subscribers in order to maintain Zen? Zen, that's a foreign word to me. I don't know what that is. All right, I'm going to jump it in. What every gamer wants to do, obviously, I play games all the time. How do I balance work, wife, 2 boys, and gaming and YouTube? I don't balance it, frankly. Family's first. Work is priority, so it's right there. Those are my priorities. Truthfully, I don't know how I do it, to be quite honest. I have a drive. I have really love this YouTube thing, and it's like it's addictive for me. It's I'll equate it to this for you guys. Like when we were younger, I was younger. Hopefully, you guys too. There were single player games. That's all there was. Those games you just played, and that was your experience, and that's all you knew, and that was fine. Then all of a sudden exploded, multiplayer games, and now it's like, most people can't even play a single-player game because they're so hooked on multiplayer. They're like, no, multiplayer is where it's at. It's the most immersive experience. It enhances my gaming experiences. I can't go back and just play a single-player. Well, now take it a step further, and for me, I have that multiplayer experience, and I put my gameplays and myself on YouTube, and it just enhances the gaming that much more for me. So I can't really imagine gaming without doing YouTube anymore. So that drives me incredibly far to really put a lot of time in here. That truthfully, I probably do too much time. It works for me right now. I have a son, obviously, who's 1 year old, and one is 3.5. I don't get out much. I don't have a social life, and that has nothing to do with YouTube or gaming. That is having 2 little boys. I work a lot. My wife works a lot. We have 2 little rugrats that run around. We don't get out. We don't socialize. We don't go out with our friends. That's just life. So it's gaming and YouTube did not take away from my social life necessarily, but what happened is gaming and YouTube filled the slot of where I used to go out and go to bars, restaurants, things like that. I don't do that anymore with my boys, so I needed something to do and a hobby and a competitive itch kind of thing. Gaming and YouTube has filled that because it's a home-based, and I'm home a lot with my kids, so it's very easy. Like right now, I just put my boys to bed. My wife is still working. I can do YouTube right now, and it's a creative outlet, it's a competitive outlet, and I feel like I'm building something, and particularly with my channel, I'm growing something, and I love that. I'm a bit of an entrepreneur, so I do like that feeling of building like a business, so to speak, so I enjoy that. How do I balance it? You optimize your workflow. You basically have to, be very efficient with your time, and you just have to do it. You gotta have you gotta have a drive, work ethic, I guess is the word I'm looking for. There's a lot of nights I don't feel like doing it. It's not that I don't want to, it's just that I'm tired. I might want to just go read a book and just zone out. That's why Borderlands 2 has been a blessing for me lately. It's just been an experience to just go and play. I recorded it and I posted it. You guys didn't really seem that interested, so I stopped. And now I'm just playing it and playing it for fun, and it's a nice experience. I'm getting ready to. I'm amped for Medal of Honor. Hopefully it doesn't flop because I really love to have all this new content to bring to you guys. But it's just about managing your time, and that's with everything in life. You have a kid, you learn how to manage time. You have the second one, you hang on for dear life for managing time. Trying to squeeze in YouTube. There's a lot of times. I work with my buddy Diggs, and I tell him all the time, I'm burnt out, man. I'm exhausted. Because the only thing that can give, I can't cut time away from my kids. What little time I get with my wife, I can't sacrifice that. Work time is work time. Basically, what I cut is sleep. That's the bottom line. That's what it is. And so there's, I don't go to bed before midnight. I'm up at about 5:45. And that's a normal night. Now, Borderlands and games like that, there's a lot of game nights I go after midnight. And unfortunately, I do videos until right up, and then I get up and run into bed, and I can't go to sleep right away because I'm all amped up. So it's not a benefit to my lifestyle, but the truth is, if I didn't have this kind of creative outlet to work on, I'd probably be a lot worse. I'd be just antsy, and yeah, it's good for me. And you know what? I do. There is some hope to me that I grow and I continue to grow, and maybe it does become a little bit of a second income, and I can justify the effort and work I put into it. That's a big answer. I should annotate with this. As I've said in another video, I'm going to be doing a YouTube series. So questions like these I'm going to cover in little like 5-minute videos in a YouTube 101 kind of series. So if you guys have questions about how I deal with YouTube, how I do it, what some kind of advice I might be able to give you, please post questions. So I'm looking for topic ideas. He had other parts to this. How much of an impact is gaming and YouTube having your personal life? Well, there I covered that. What do you recommend your subscribers in order to maintain Zen? I don't have an answer for that. You can't neglect your priorities in life, and that goes for everything. You know, if you do that, it doesn't matter. You could build the biggest YouTube channel in the world, but if your boys don't know who you are, your girlfriend or your wife, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Your priorities are your priorities. YouTube, I don't care if you're making $100,000 a month from it. It's still not a priority. It's not as important for me anyway. That's how I feel. I know obviously some people don't feel the same way. You gotta take care of your business, and YouTube is still a hobby for me. Next question is, Has a Man Returns. What do you feel about British commentators? I'm British and I'm aspiring to eventually be a BF3 competitive YouTuber. Competitive meaning I want to help some people traverse into the competitive scene. Also, what makes a commentator a good commentator? Any opinion, welcome. Love your commentaries as always. So basically, I'm gonna this is gonna go to that YouTube series I'm doing. This would be a good one for that. I might address this actually. I'm gonna do it quick because this could be a whole long video. What do I feel about British commentators? I hate you guys because you got these really cool accents, and if they're done right, I feel like it's a competitive edge. It's like a girl with boobs. You guys got an accent. I'm a 34-year-old balding guy that I can grow facial hair. That's what I got. Yeah, Xbox Ahoy, come on. I mean, there's just a lot of you guys out there that you're just like, oh, wow. I feel like it distinguishes you guys. I really do. So I don't see any problem with it at all. There's a lot of guys out there that English is obviously a second language, and as long as you might have to work at it a little harder than some of us, like me. I just need to speak English naturally, but it's important to do. You have to be understood, and I assume that's the direction he's asking this question. You have to be clearly understood. YouTube, the attention spans are like that. If you make them work to understand, I mean, whether it's an accent or just bad speaking or anything, if you make them work at anything, they're gone. So as long as you're clear and succinct about what you're saying, I don't see a problem with it. And like I said, I do think it could be a little bit of an advantage. BF3 competitive YouTuber, you might have missed the boat on that. Just if you want to be a Battlefield competitive YouTuber, that's great. Definitely get into it. There's no time to start but now. Get yourself ready. You got plenty of time to hone your skills. Don't ever try to time your YouTube channel to a big game launching. It just never works out right. You're better off just when you're ready, do it. Did I miss anything else? What makes a commentator a good commentator? I don't know. That would really be up to you guys. Again, I'll be doing this. Will definitely be covered in the series, and it's not any one answer. For me, I think it's a certain quality. It's a consistency, and I think that's the biggest thing. I think my advantage is I don't think I make amazing videos. I mean, I'm not much of a director. I'm an editor. I cut up some clips, put it on. I do a commentary over it. I think my commentaries come a long way. I'm much more comfortable, but I think it's consistency. I pumped out a lot of videos in the beginning, and everybody knew they could count on me to be putting something out, and I built a relationship with a lot of you guys, and here I am. This is, I guess that would go into my third thing, a little bit of transparency. Be who you are. You have to be authentic. You can't be anything. I'd hate to be one of these guys that did one of these character things, and they have to be that all the time, no matter how successful they might be. I'm not interested in that. I want to be me. I'm just going to be me. It's going to be my channel. If you like it, great. Let's game together. If you don't, hey, man, I can recommend a lot of channels that I like that you might be into. But yeah, I guess that about wraps it up. Andre Rafferty asks, what is your fondest memory while playing a video game? Ooh, man, I don't know. There's a lot of them. But I would probably go back to a childhood memory that has always stuck with me. My parents got divorced when I was relatively young. My cousins, who I grew up relatively close with, the same kind of deal with them. And one Christmas time, I guess both marriages were having a hard time. My aunt and my two cousins came and lived with us. And so we were like a big, disjointed family. I believe that was the first year I got a Nintendo, and me and my sister and my two cousins basically sat around. I remember we played Metroid, and we played it from start to finish together. The co-op, you pass the remote, you play a life till you die, then you hand the remote to the next person, and we probably did that for 3 or 4 days, and it was just really cool. And, you know, looking back now as an older guy, I look back at that as a fond memory and a really tough time. And it's probably the real instance of, like, just video games being good, I think, for me. So that's a little heavier than I probably planned on getting, but that's just what came to my memory. You know, I haven't really read these too much ahead of time, but that's what jumps out. I mean, I have a lot of, like, epic moments in Battlefield 3 and things like that. I used to play Ultima Online a lot. I've mentioned that. Some of you guys might know what that is. Some of my best memories are in that game. Some of the combat and PvP were just insane, and the competition was awesome. Repercussions were great. The early days of Ultima Online remind me a lot of DayZ, where, you know, you die, you lost everything. You would lose your character. I mean, it was great, man. That was the golden day of MMOs for me, for sure. And could be for gaming, to be honest. I don't think I'll ever have that feeling with a game like I had with, like, the first year I played Ultima Online. Next, Snoof 603. Who do you look up to the most on YouTube scene? That is after Shusty Bang, because we all know they're the #1 most looked up YouTube channel for everyone. For those of you who don't know, Snoof 603 is part of Shusty Bang. I've kind of gotten to know these guys a little bit lately. Great guys. Definitely check out their channel. Shameless promotion by yourself, Snoof, and I'll build on that. They're definitely worth checking out. Who do I look up to on YouTube? Well, I'll be honest. I look up to Shusty Bang. I have a lot of respect for you guys and what you're doing. I think, you know, they do what they're most predominantly known for is gun reviews, and I think they do it just about as well as anybody, if not better. Gun reviews have a little bit of a rep of being like a cheap video, I guess. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but you guys don't. You can tell they put time into it, they put effort, they put production value into it, which, you know, it really just kind of is. If you can hold my attention to a gun video, you're doing a good job, because I've seen about them all now, and I still watch their videos. If I have a question about a video I haven't used a lot, that's where I go. Who do I look up to the most on the YouTube scene? I don't know if there's really individuals. It seems to be kind of groups, and like, I mean, starting out, it was Colin, D-Crew Colin for sure. Don't Blink was another one. Level Cap, I do look up to what he does. The man's got an incredible work ethic. He's pumping it out. He's kind of a trendsetter right now to see what he's trying to do to build his channel. I'm surely going to miss people. I'm just kind of naming bigger guys right now. You know, over on the other side, I started watching YouTube videos while I was playing Black Ops, so I had a lot of respect for Onslaught. You guys may or may not know who that is. Definitely, you know, paid attention to his videos a lot. He had a lot of influence on my editing, I would say. And just, you know, being himself and kind of webcamming and things like that. So that one I'd have to think a lot more in depth on. It's a great question. I actually probably should do a whole video on it. And like I said, I'm sure I'm missing some people. You know, I have a lot of friends that YouTube as well, but most people probably wouldn't know who they are, but I support them and I back them up as best I can. And yeah, I think that about covers that, I guess. It doesn't really cover it, but I'll probably do a video on it.